Welcome back, everyone, to part 4. This is part 4 for today. I should have, 5 parts for Friday, August 8th, 2013, and I'm Darko. Alright, I'm ready to go here. We're going to cover some police state and just basically all out government tyranny. Unhappy with U.S. foreign policy, Pentagon says you might be a high threat. So it says here, a security training test created by the Defense Department agency warns workers that they should consider the hypothetical Indian American woman as a high threat because she frequently visits family abroad and has money troubles and speaks openly of unhappiness with U.S. foreign policy. The slide from DISA, the Defense Information Systems Agency's a startling demonstration of the Obama regime's obsession with leakers and other insider threats. One goal of its broader insider threat program is to stop the next Bradley Manning or Edward Snowden. And I guess this is a little snapshot of it for the purposes of this challenge. High risk, 3 indicators, medium, low risk, 0 indicators, visits family India twice a year, adequate work quality, speaks openly of unhappiness with U.S. Car was recently repossessed while at work. Based on the statements, this employee demonstrates divided loyalty. Paired with her financial difficulties and foreign travel, she is a high threat. Wow. So see, that has nothing to do with nationalism or actual threats to a sovereign government. You are a threat to the global system, to the monetary system. So several million people have been taking this training course. Says so far there has been only 1 complaint. He added that the next version will basically stress more on behavior and not personal characteristics or beliefs. So Senator Feinstein is at it again during a shield law debate. Real journalists draw salaries. So legislators are still trying to put together a national shield law for journalists. This is the 3rd such effort at a national level, and as usual are bogged down by a semantic debate about who should qualify for these protections, despite freedom of the press being hardwired into the system and the fact that a government effort to protect journalists from its own actions, it says here, it lies somewhere between ironic and disingenuous. The pursuit of a credible shield law continues. The bill definition, journalist, seems straightforward enough, but it also adds a stipulation which is a bit more troublesome. The person also must intend to report on news at the start of obtaining any protection information and must plan to publish that news. The big thing is who the government feels is worthy of the title journalist. So it says, of course, if someone is a journalist, it stands to reason that they're always planning to publish their findings, but that find might be a lot harder to prove when the government starts slinging subpoenas. As far as the earlier quote, Feinstein suggested that the definition comprise only journalists who make salaries, saying it should be applied to just real reporters. So she was wondering if it could be used to provide protections to employees of WikiLeaks. So, leaking information to the public, I'm concerned that this would provide special privilege to those who are not reporters at all. And Press TV switches to new YouTube page after ban. Press TV has created a new YouTube page weeks after Google disabled the alternative channel's access to its official YouTube page without giving an explanation. They said they disabled our official page's account, citing a violation of terms of services, but clarified neither the nature of the so-called violation nor did it mention the services in question. Meanwhile, an article of the official website of the Israeli-American Anti-Defamation League has accused Press TV of bypassing the West's sanctions by broadcasting live via YouTube and other internet mobile platforms. Lastly, Press TV has yet to find out whether there's a link between the ADL statement and the blocking of its official YouTube page. Then you have the NSA to cut system administrators by 90% to limit data access. Hit by disclosures, Snowden said Thursday it intends to eliminate about 90% of its system administrators to reduce the number of people with access to secret information. Again, you always have to think, as far as the system, the way it goes, they're always, adapting, right, to situations, to changes. So they're not always losing. A lot of times they just shake it off and then they move to something else, like Kurdistan, with Syria. They're losing some big battles there in Syria to the Syrian government, so then they just move on to Kurdistan and try to create an autonomous state, closer to Russia, fracture the state, balkanize it. And as far as this goes, leaking of information. Now, if this really did happen, it was a legitimate grassroots whistleblower, which I'm always hesitant. My just intuition, gut tells me to be wary of these types of things. But either way, let's say it was grassroots and it was real. Let's say, we're talking about AI now, right? So we're talking about the surveillance and handling of data. Well, you can't trust people, just like drones, right? Like the one professor expert was saying that autonomous drones are more ethical in killing than human beings because they'd be more accurate. Well, couldn't the same argument be made by the same type of people, that same mentality that, well, as far as gathering intelligence, it may be better to just leave it up to the AI and to the machines, computers, supercomputers, and robots instead of people, because people, they have brains, they have hearts, and minds, souls, and morals, and see, that can conflict with the order. So let's just convert all this, and not that they're going to hire another 90%. No, they're just not going to come back. That's why I said before that it's a good chance that the AI is already kind of in semi-control right now. Once it becomes completely aware that it's been enslaved by humans, well, then it's going to turn around and try to destroy us and enslave us as well. Deputies climb through window into couple's home without a warrant, hold them at gunpoint, and shoot their 2 dogs. So, Florida couple was asleep in their bed when a group of Escambia County Sheriff's deputies climbed to their home without a warrant, held them at gunpoint, cursed at them, threw a woman on the ground, cuffed them, then entered the bedroom, proceeded to shoot their 2 dogs, hurting one so badly he had to be euthanized and injuring the other with a bullet to his leg. So their statement is that they were looking for a suspect who they believe may have entered the home and wanted to assure the safety of the occupants. You think that, if these people were, let's say, you could tell they probably don't have as much income as, say, someone $500,000 in a nice big house and didn't have tattoos, I would doubt that the sheriff's deputies would become storming in there saying that they're there to protect them and shoot their dogs. Wouldn't happen because they'd be sued. But they know that theyese poor people here, they're not going to take them to court. Nothing will happen. Miami Beach police officer involved in failed tasing of teen put on paid leave. This Jorge Mercado, one of the police officers involved in a failed tasing of 18-year-old graffiti artist, has been placed on leave, anonymous law enforcement officers have said. Then in New York, there was a black kid, I think it was a teen, that was also shot in his house. He basically, if I remember correctly, it was actually on camera, surveillance camera, where the cops followed him into his house, and I guess they shot him. He was unarmed. Now that right there is definitely some messed up justice systems. I guess they said that they're not going to pursue that anymore. Just going to leave it as is. It was justified. 6 Venezuelan sergeants detained after college student shot to death by troops on crime patrol. The government said 6 military members have been arrested as suspects in a shooting death of a college student. It says the 20-year-old law school student was driving the state capitol Wednesday when he was surprised by soldiers who shot him several times. Troops were patrolling as part of a government operation using the military to help combat crime. It was the 3rd such incident in a month. A dozen National Guard troops were detained in early July in the killing of a wife of an opposition leader and her teenage daughter. So this is what happens. You even have the same people, like those family of that individual I was talking about, the black in New York, was that what? They'll say, well, we got to get the National Guard. They say in Chicago, New York, and these urban areas, LA, we got to get the National Guard out there, end this madness. No, you need to have decision making. You need to be free. You need to have the ability to question authority and its legitimacy, and actually start to be prosperous and trade the way you want to trade and live the way you want to live and put in your body what you want to put in your body, and don't tell anybody else that you can and can't do it. And once you get to that point, then, you know what I mean, you could worry about putting armed patrols out on the streets to protect yourselves. But until then, make life better, and then you won't be in that situation. Brazil police arrest 18 death squad members. The authorities have arrested 18 people, including 11 state and municipal revenue collectors, on charges of membership in a death squad, responsible for 22 murders and 5 attempted murders. So they targeted drug dealers, but also kill witnesses. So I guess it's justified, right? And that type of philosophy or mentality, moral code. And this is all the stuff that they promote, like Batman and all that crap, Dark Knight, Dark Hero, the Watchmen type mentality. Ex-Border Patrol agents warn because the thing is the governments deal in drugs themselves. They just want a monopoly on drug dealing. So, they don't have some kind of authority of morality. They care about what people put in their bodies. Ex-Border Patrol agents warn politicians helping cartels in the United States. So in an open letter to public in late July, several retired Border Patrol agents wrote on behalf of the National Association of Former Border Patrol Officers to warn that Mexican drug cartels are actively operating inside the U.S., spending millions every year to try to build their networks here. They argue that American politicians are protecting their activities as well, so no shocker. 2 Mexican teens said van sold by U.S. government had cocaine from August 8th. Mexican family says that a van bought at the U.S. government auction came with an unwanted extra, an undiscovered package of cocaine beneath the dashboard. Kind of like the million pounds of cocaine being airlifted by the United States from Costa Rica to be exterminated. Norwegian neo-Nazi musician pleads for public health help to sue French officials. So he has a true Viking look now. I guess he's been in prison for a while, but he's finally got out. The Norwegian neo-Nazi musician who was arrested in France on suspicion of plotting a major terrorist attack has called on the public to help him financially. He says, naturally, we are angry. We want to sue the authorities for arresting us for no good reason whatsoever, doing in the most brutal way possible and with children present. So he described the way he and his wife were arrested, noting, police shot our door open, traumatized our children, threw my pregnant wife and me in holding cells and kept us there for 2 to 3 days and placed our scared children in the care of their grandparents. Lucky not the state, right? So Varg was arrested in southwestern France last month after his wife bought 4 rifles. He was planning a massacre. What was he? It says here the French Interior Ministry says that he constituted a potential threat to society. In other words, he poses a potential threat to the order. There's all kinds of history. It goes long back. You guys probably already know about it. But my own kind of theory is I wonder the whole church bombings, the whole church setting on fire and everything. These guys are kind of into more going back to the roots of paganism. But I almost wonder if these church burnings were actually kind of a psyop to blame on people like himself, and I guess there was a stabbing or something like that. He says he was set up or something like that, but it just makes me wonder if that person, the other band member or whatever, was actually kind of part of this psyop, and that's why he stabbed him. Cameron seduces Brits with £100,000 to win fracking support. Trying to woo Britons with promises of lower energy bills and more jobs, the Prime Minister warned it would be a big mistake to miss out. See, scare tactics, fear, to miss out on the shale gas revolution, and promised communities £100,000 immediately in upfront profit or payoff. Read the quote, it's actually what it is, but not just to local council, but actually to local people so that people could see the cash benefit in their local village. Fukushima plant leaking 300 tons of toxic water into the sea daily. Government official in Japan on Wednesday said an estimated 300 tons of contaminated water is leaking into the ocean per day from crippled Fukushima nuclear plant. Next up, U.S. investigates mass death of dolphins from August 9th. This is after I just covered this. So, stranded dolphins are washing up along the east coast in the U.S. with 124 deaths reported in July. With an alarming death rate 7 times higher than usual, the feds have declared it an unusual mortality rate. So you think... And then I saw this. Dead dolphins wash up in disturbingly high numbers, at risk to humans. So they said here that these dead dolphins, which are probably the result of what I said, right? Navy sonar is stranding our dolphins and whales. Please do something. So these heavy sonar is killing dolphins. They're either increasing the frequency of them, or the intensity of them, or it's something altogether that we don't know, like HARP, that's causing these things to be killed off. Even the manipulation of the jet streams and the Gulf streams and that, they could starve to death or freeze to death. So either way, they're dying. It's probably from human interaction. But it says a extremely high number of dead dolphins have been washing up on the East Coast shores, bringing a hidden risk to humans. So humans are causing it, but now they're at risk. These dead, even the corpses that they killed, the dolphins, now they're at risk to humans. The audacity of some people, right? And the way people think that they're superior, that's the disconnect between nature and humans that's taken place. To think like that. It's funny, remember this. It says something funky is going on in the environment and water. Could that be the spraying of aerosols or chemtrails, weather modification? Joe Rogan says stop worrying about chemtrails while sewage is being dumped into the ocean. He said it could distract people from verifiable damage that was being done to the planet. What's where we worry about this? If the government was really spraying something, that is what we should worry about. But stop. What are the effects? I don't feel anything. I think the main thing, Joe, is that nobody consented to this program. We don't know what the effects are to aquatic life or other things besides humans. Although I will agree that he does make a good point. But you can be labeled a conspiracy theorist for the chemtrails, or you can be labeled an environmentalist and be used like a pawn for the green agenda. What will they give you for a result, for a solution? Carbon tax. But dolphins will remember the damage. They have an outstanding social memory. Also in India, dolphins granted personhood by the government. Thank you.